The final logical operator we'll see is the not logical operator. Now this one actually doesn't really combine two expressions, but it operates upon an expression. It is going to negate the value. If it's something that's false, it turns it true. If something is true, it turns it false. But what that really means is that if we put the exclamation point, which is the piece of syntax we use, just like we use 2 ampersands for and, we use a single bang or exclamation point for not. We put that in front of some expression. It will return true if that expression is false. So here's an example. Here's a very simple expression, false. It's just false, the Boolean false. But if I put not, I am flipping it, and it's now true. Or I could do something like this. Is 1 equal to 1? Well, we know that is true, right? But if I put not in front of it, we get false. Another example, we can do things like this. If I have null, which is a falsy value, if I just hit enter, we see null. But if I logically negate it using exclamation point, it's actually going to flip the Booleanness of it. That's a horrible way of putting it. But we know that null is inherently falsy. So it flips it to truthy. So if I flip it back to false, again and again and again, not that you would really do this, but you can. It's absurd. So there's a lot of ways we could use this, but here's a simple one. We'll ask a user to enter, a name. Enter your first name, right? So const first name equals prompt. And then right afterwards, if they don't enter a first name, we could just ask them again. And we could do this long thing, right? If first name is equal to exactly an empty string, that means they didn't enter anything. We could ask them to enter it again, or I can just say, if there was not a first name, if first name is falsy, remember empty string is falsy and a bunch of other values. So if that's the case, well, then if I just did that, if first name, this is going to be if there is a first name. That's not what I want. I want if there is not a first name. And then in here, I can do the exact same thing. I'll update first name. Whoops. Or maybe I'll do it again. Try again. Right? Let's run it. Enter your first name. So I'm going to type my first name. That's not my first name. But I type that in and we don't get a message. But if I leave it blank, try again. Now that only happens once. We're not doing it over and over and over. We'll soon see how to automate that or how to loop our code so that does occur until you actually enter a valid first name or you don't leave it blank. But this is a common situation. If not something, where normally that thing would be a truthy thing, first name, we're looking to run this code when first name is falsy. So we flip it. Other situations where you can use this, you can negate an entire complicated expression. So here we go. If I only wanted to target, I'm just going to copy this down here. I only want to target people who are not getting in for free. So I'm going to go with const age equals, 45. So I'm right here, I'm targeting people who are between 0 and 5 or greater than 65. That means they are definitely getting in for free. Let's say I want the opposite though. I want everyone else. What I can do, and this is going to be quite ugly, but I can do this here. I can negate the entire thing. So I don't need these parentheses here, but I do want to wrap parentheses around this entire thing and then flip it. So if age is between 0 and 5 or age is greater than or equal to 65, not that. And here I can console.log, you are not a baby or a senior. Let's try it. And we get you are not a baby or a senior with 45. If I do 0, we don't get anything. If I do 100, we don't get anything. But if I do something in between, how about 8 years old, you're not a baby or a senior, right? So using not there is negating this entire long expression. This whole thing in parentheses is going to evaluate first. We'll get true or false, and then we flip it. So all of these work in conjunction. Here's an example. We're using logical not, logical and logical or all together in the same expression. It's a long one, and it doesn't really look like English at all, but it is valid JavaScript. So that is logical not. it's going to return true if the expression we are applying it to returns false, or it evaluates to false. We saw logical OR, it only needs one side, left or right, to be true, and logical AND requires both sides to be true in order for the entire outcome to be true. So these are foundational for logic. We use them all the time. We combine things together. We're still starting simple, but you will see lots and lots of situations where we use these operators together to build more complicated logic. So bear with me, hang in there if you're struggling with it. We'll get a lot of practice, and over time, this will become second nature. Don't be off-put by the symbols. Yes, it's annoying to use the pipe character if that's new to you, but you'll get used to it. Okay.